What's that sound? It's for amusement only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast.
Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Tonight I wanted to talk about Bally's 1977 Miss America Deluxe. Now, if you've been listening for more than a couple days, you'll know that just 2 days ago I talked about Miss America Supreme. Well, Miss America Supreme came out the year before in 1976. And Bally again found that theme so popular that they put out Miss America Deluxe the very next year. This is, however, a different game, and it contains all the features from Miss America Supreme. So your first coin, when you put it into Miss America Deluxe, will light your first card. Additional coins may light features, odds, or both, including your extra card. Of these features, the first would be your moving numbers feature, which is called Magic Lines. Your standard bingo card is a 5x5 grid, and when you have the magic lines lit for each of the rows, you press the button that corresponds to the row in question on the foot rail, and it will move that line back and forth one space. This allows you to reposition the numbers so that, for example, you could have two numbers on the same bingo card twice. This is a very powerful feature, and in two cases, at least, you can put the same number on the same row with only one number between. So you can have two set up for 3 in a row without having to make two different numbers. Now, this game brings back corner scoring, and if you hit all 4 corners on the main card, then it will award you your red 5 in a row odds. This game also brings back the star numbers, which are at the main cardinal positions on the compass on the extra card, north, south, east, and west. If you hit each of those and the feature is lit, you'll earn your green 5 in a line odds. By default, you can move the numbers until you shoot your 4th ball, but this game has a rollover feature, as do all the Miss America games, that will light in alternating fashion when the rollover feature is lit. So for each coin, it will switch which side is lit. And when you hit that lit rollover, it will light before 5th, so extending your time tree by 1 ball. Those star zones that I mentioned can also be used to award the red letter game. In this case, any 2 or 3 of the stars will award your red letter game based on which feature is lit. Your red letter game is one of the letters in America, and this is lit in sync with the red odds. When you win your red letter game, when you have 3 or 2 in those star zones, you hold down your R button, and all the balls will drop, and your odds and features will reset and then tick back up to a specific point that's labeled on the score and instruction card based on the letter that was highlighted in America. It's a very cool feature. It's a fun little extra game within a game. Of course, you don't win any replays unless you actually beat that red letter game, but it gives you an extra chance at winning a whole lot of replays, because your odds are typically much higher in many of the other colors than in the red when you get that red letter game. Now, this game also has extra balls, and you can get up to 3 of them, just like on most of the extra ball games. This awards you up to 8 chances to get 3, 4, or 5 in a line. Your 3 in a line odds go from 4 to 192 in each of the colors, 16 to 400 for your 4 in a line odds,
and 75 to 600 for your 5 in a line odds. This game has quadruple deck scoring, and that means that there are separate odds for red, yellow, green, and white. Your main card contains the red and yellow lines, and the extra card contains green and white lines. As I mentioned at the top of the show, this game has one extra feature over Miss America Supreme, and that is that it brings back from High Flyer red diagonals. In this case, it calls them striped diagonals, and they are the diagonals which are not the primary diagonals on the extra card only. And so these striped diagonals will allow you to make your 3 or 4 in a row if you miss your primary diagonals or your vertical and horizontal lines. This is a super powerful feature on a game like Miss America because, coupled with the moving numbers feature, this would make it incredibly easy to get your striped diagonals at least. I say that, but I've certainly found ways to lose on these games no matter what the features are. So I'm very interested in playing a Miss America Deluxe at some point in the future. So let's talk about artwork. Miss America Deluxe has a red backglass, and beside the bingo cards to the left and right are 2 women, both wearing swimsuits. At the bottom left you have a woman's head, and on the right-hand side, beside the odds, you have a woman in an evening gown. The cabinet is a reprise of Miss America Supreme, but instead of the base coat being white, it is red. You have the crown in the center of the head stencil, with a ribbon above and below, and a star in between that. The lower cabinet has the same ribbons from that head stencil, with stars in between, and then a rainbow pattern underneath. In this case, the rainbow is comprised only of black, yellow, and red. So they've done away with the red, white, and blue motif, which I thought served them pretty well with the theme, Miss America. The playfield is also red, and it's got what appears to be a similar plastic-coated finish to what they used on Nashville and Dixieland, which are coming up. However, I've already talked about those games previously, so there will not be another dedicated episode to those games. At the top you have what appears to be some kind of rope or ribbon threading around the posts at the ball arch area. On the left and right side, you have 2 different women, and below them you have the tiaras with the rollovers inset. This artwork, I feel, is the weakest out of the Miss America series, but the feature set is the strongest. Adding the red letter game to Miss America is pretty genius. However, if I were to get a Miss America game today, the one that I would want is Miss America 57, and that's because of the artwork. I just happen to prefer that. Also, I love the wood rail bingos. I love the feel of them when you're playing them. I feel like you have more control than even the metal rail bingos, which I feel like you have a lot of control there too. So that's just my personal preference. But if you're looking for the most featureful Miss America game that Bally produced, this is it. This is the last Miss America game that they produced as well in 1977. Remember that Bally's bingo production closed in 1980. So we're not talking too many more games here before Bally shuts its doors to bingos. Well, that's all for tonight. Thank you very much for listening. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me on the Bingos line. That's 724-BINGOS1, 724-246-4671. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter at Bingo Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram, also at Bingo Podcast, or you can listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.